Good morning, friends. Cheryl here with inkedpulp. Excuse me. And I am back with art before breakfast. It's Wednesday. One second. I'm getting my iPad pulled up here. There we go. We've got a fun video today. I am going to be making some bracelets. And they're going to look kind of like this. It's going to be copper with a fabric insert. So I'm going to come back to this one. We'll make a new one, and it looks a little wonky right now. It probably is a little wonky right now, but once I get it bent and around the wrist, it'll be fine. So I'm going to set this one aside, and then actually let's keep going. I'll show you how to get. Hi, how are you? I'll show you how we get the fabric in there and the copper done in just a minute, but that's one of the pieces. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around. Let's see if I can. I'm going to go around and hammer. And what I'm going to do is turn off my microphone until I get that hammered around because it's going to be loud. So let me mute this and I'll be right back. Yes, we are, Casey. And hey, Big Mama. Big Mama, there's a package on its way to you. So I'm making these bracelets that are copper with a fabric insert. And right now, if you guys will let people know as they come in, I have my microphone muted because the hammering is loud, and I'll get around it and then I'll turn it back on. All right, I'm back. So can you see what I've done? I put texture in that. Now what I'm going to do is go and confirm that down so there's nothing sticking up, because right now there's some little ripples along the metal there where it comes in contact with the no, so I want to lay down. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Is the noise super loud? Mute while I'm doing. Let me mute real quick. I forgot how much hammering was in there. All right. So there. Now, this piece of copper is really, I mean, it's like paper thin. Now it's gotten harder since I've hammered on it. But what's going to happen is it will get riveted to a bigger piece. You know, not that big, but it will get riveted to a bigger piece of copper in the corners, and that bottom piece of copper will be much heavier, so it'll hold up to bracelet. I'm on your phone. So, well, what were you speaking on, Big Mama? So I have this bracelet mandrel. This is how I form my shapes. And I did put some Scotch Guard. I'm going to start small and then we'll make it bigger. I did put some Scotch Guard on this so that the material will not get dirty when somebody wears. Actually, I didn't on this one. This one piece I had out and I was just playing with it before I started, but I Scotch Guarded all the other pieces I'm going to work with today. So we're just going to form this down. Now, because this is a tapered mandrel, the piece is going to come out all wonky, right? So what you have to do, kind of shape it more with my fingers, and then I have to turn it upside down and put it back on the mandrel the other way to even. So Big Mama, do tell, what were you speaking on? What was your speaking engagement? Set it down there. Just keep working it until we get Stonecroft Ministries. Oh, there you go. Did it go well? All right. Oh, your life story. Yay. There we go. So there it is. Oops, let's see, one more spot I got to even out. So I just work with it till I get it really even. And then that's what it's going to look like. Isn't that pretty with that fabric in there? Now, the other thing that, so these ridges didn't come out real deep as I wanted them to, but I'll fix that on the next one. But what I'll do is I'll antique this copper top and bottom so that it is dark with lighter highlights. I don't have my antiquing solution down here. And then I will drill holes in the corners and Writing down. Very cool, Big Mama. So when I rivet, that will help hold these corners down so they won't lift up. These are going to stay pretty well. And then it'll be on that bigger piece or that heavier piece. And I form it first because if I rivet it down and then try to bend it, the top piece of metal doesn't have to bend as far as the bottom piece. They don't bend evenly when you do that. So I make it this way, and then when I form the next one, I'll slide this down over and then rivet it. And that way it'll be even. And then I just go along and make sure that, like all these little pieces here, I already sanded down the corners, but I'll sand the corners down. And anyway, so there's a bracelet. How about if we make another one? So I start with a piece of 30 gauge copper, and I'm making your fingers. Tell me honestly, is that hammer way too loud? I mean, I can mute when I hammer. Oh, I have to show you what I made the other day too. I've been working on earrings, and I think I dropped the other one of these on the floor. I got to find it. But I did that with the distressing, but I did some other really cool ones. So I've got these. Look at those. That is gesso and distressing. Oh, not distressing, distress glazes. These are gesso distress glazes, and then I did some doodling on the bottoms of them, so they'll hang from up here. But that's just distress glazes over gesso. I'm going to make a bunch of, there we go. So those are, again, gesso, distress glazes, and doodling. And then I have some that are, I can't find all my bits and pieces. They're here on my desk somewhere. And I'm not done with these yet, but I have these. Oops. Hang on 1 second. Need to move my mouse before I shut us down. Then I have those. And then I have a whole bunch that are, let me just put them over here. I did something really fun. Just dropped one. Let me grab it before I lose it. There we go. All right, I have all of these that I did, and they're really, really fun. So this first pair, and I have a couple more. When I was wiping up, hey Tony, hey Marie, when I was wiping up the distress glazes when I was working like on these last week, that's a pair that I did. So when I would wipe up my distress glazes, I would use a baby wipe. And the glaze got on the baby wipe. So I thought, and it had all these different colors on it. And so I thought, wouldn't it be fun? Let's see what, uh-oh, bye. Like I said, you got a package coming, Big Mama. Oh, here it is. So what I did is I took the baby wipe and I started heating it. I had all this distress glaze on here and I started heating it. And you see how it kind of burned through some spots? Of course. So I made this material that, gosh, I can use for anything. And it's really cool. And it's like a netting. And then I cut it out. Well, I glued it onto some copper dangles. And then I cut around it. Well, first I put, does this one have gesso? Yeah. I found that if I try to glue the copper or the stuff directly to the copper, it doesn't work very well. It peels off because it's too slick. So I started doing something else to make sure it stays down. But anyway, so I glued down that baby wipe and then I flecked some black splatters on it. So that is baby wipe. And then this one is actually going to be a pendant. I'm going to put something metal on there. And that will be a pendant. And then I have all these different earrings. And there's another long one of those. And then this one, I don't have the other one right here. It's around here somewhere. I put gold flecks on it. You see the gold flecks? And then these, and again, that's all baby wipe that's been glued down, and the glue kind of seeps through. Hi, April, Miss Juju. And it's so textured. I haven't sealed these yet. And then I have some of these that are kind of darker. I think those two go together. I just picked two that go together, but those are just little earring dangles. And so that can be a set. Now, let me ask you guys' opinions. So, Miss Juju told me that what she's seeing is that a lot of girls are wearing these hanging straight down as a pendant. And then I would just drill 2 holes up here, or I would just do one in the middle and put a jump ring through it and then put a cord or chain or something through it. Or I can turn it sideways and hang it like a bar. Not exactly completely even at the bottom, but I haven't sanded it yet. So when I go along and sand this with my flex shaft, it'll even it out a little. So should I put it horizontal? Hi, Mimi. No worries. So, or should I hang it long? Yeah, and I will, what I'll do with my file is kind of bevel it a little. I'll file down so it's not just a straight edge, but I'll file that so you'll see a little of the copper, and then I'll darken the edges. Hi, KK. So anyway, and I've made them all different lengths so people can choose what length they like. But yeah, and I'll use a tool to do that rather than just my hand file. It'll go a lot faster. But should I hang this vertical? I can't, Casey. The only thing I could do, I can't stamp in this stuff because it's paper. Oh, I could stamp like with ink. Yeah, but it's not going to stamp evenly. When I stamp on copper, I like stamp into the copper and it indents the copper. And I obviously can't do that here. And then as far as stamping with ink, I don't know. The only thing I could do is stamp a word into copper and then rivet that copper onto the Yeah, I'm going to put metal on it. It'll be metal something on here. I don't have anything handy, but I'll make like a spiral, or I don't know, I'll make something and put on there. But I have to seal it. I have to round off the corners. I still have the finish work to do. Then I have to, do the back. But those are what I've been working on. And Mimi, look at these, my dear. Oh, that's coming off. That's not good. I need to do that and then spray them so that so I just learned something. And that's a Sharpie, or that's a Posca pen there. So I'll take all the writing off, and then I'll actually probably spray them and then put the pen on and then spray them again. But look at these, Mimi, orange and yellow. And so I'll just take some this is acetone, and I may have to reheat it may like dull the glazes, but I can come back and just reheat it. And there we go. Oh, my heat gun died, you guys. I came down here this morning to use it and it would not work. It wouldn't turn on. I am heartbroken, so now I have to order a new one. All right, so there, that's off. If it hasn't come off, it's not coming off. So what I'll do is seal them. So I learned something new. I'll seal them, and then I'll put the doodles on them and then seal them again. Hey, Susan. Susan, I have a huge surprise for you. I don't know if I'll get it out today, but I have a huge surprise for you. So I've got those, and those are like a abandoned coral and lemonade. And then these other ones I made, these are really cool. Lots of texture in them. They are gesso for some texture, and then embossing glazes. I know. All right, Casey, have a great day. So anyway, I've been working on a lot of earrings. For those who just came in, I did these. And I did these. I love these. So I'm just playing with lots of different earrings. So these are my earrings. But yeah, oh, by the way, I forgot, I meant to say this when I first got on here. I wanted to just give a little moment of remembrance to the 9/11 victims. Today is September 11th, and I know the blue ones are cool. My show is the middle of October. So prayers for everybody we lost on 9/11 and their families who are left behind, and probably not appropriate to have a day without doing that. So okay, have a great day, Tony. All right, so back to the bracelets. Here's our first one. Should we do another one from scratch? I'll let you guys pick the material that we use. I've got this. It would look like that on there. I Scotch guarded it. It smells like Scotch guard. I've got a piece of lace. And I could put that onto some white fabric or some brown fabric, or like here's this piece of quilting that I wanted to use one of those, and then I could put this. Yeah, that doesn't look so good. I need a solid color. So I have the quilting. I have postage stamps. Isn't that cool? I know, I just have to find something to put under it. Or I have this. Actually, it would go this way. I have this black, and then there are different parts of it that I can use. Like that would be cool. Wouldn't that be cool in a bracelet? So, A, B, C, or D? You guys tell me. I have one more, but I don't want to use it right now. Oh, or E. I have the quilt. A, B, C, or D, or E. A, B, C, D. Yes, Tony, remembering. All right, A, B, C, D, or E. A is the black, B is the stamps, or postmarks, the lace, I don't know what you'd call that, the multicolor, and the quilts. Oh, I'm going to make them all. So I have a B and a C. I will make one of each of these. I just won't be able to do it all on here. Okay, I have a B and a C. What about the rest of you? And thumbs up, please, if you haven't. Okay, I have 2 for B. Let's just do the stamps. Since the voting is slow, and I am going to make one of each. All right, so then the next thing is to find ooh, I like that part right there. A little bit of purple on either side, the blue in the middle. All right, so well, here's the thing though with doing that. This lace is not open weave enough. It's pretty closed weave. You're not really going to see what's underneath. Say it just looks like blah underneath there. If it was a more open weave lace, that would work great, but it's not. Now I have to leave enough room to fold over the copper, so, and I don't really measure much of this. I leave it very organic. Okay, now do we want No, that's got a big blank spot. So we need to go down here. And I'm not going to throw all these little pieces away. These will work for something else. All right. And then there's that. And then all right. So there's a piece of fabric. I'm going to cut off some of these frayed edges, but there's what that is going to look like. Put it down just a little bit more. And this is all going to be underneath, so it doesn't have to be perfect. But I'll cut some of the frays off just to keep them out of the way. Now I need to I put Fabri-Tac on that last piece because that was a piece of upholstery fabric. It was really thick and the Fabri-Tac didn't come through. I need something just to hold the fabric in place while I get it stuck down. I don't know that I want to put Fabri-Tac on this because I think it might just come through. So I think what I'm going to do is just use some double-sided tape. It is Timmy fabric. I just had that long kind of skinny piece and I thought, well, I might as well use it. So I'm just putting just a little bit of this, and this doesn't matter if it holds because it's actually just a temporary hold. But I didn't want to use the Fabri-Tac and have it. I think I used super glue on the original ones that I did. It's not sticking to the fabric very well. It's not sticking at all. So forget that. We're going to have to put some Fabri-Tac after all. Just have to put it on there really lightly. And I'm just going to put it in a few places. I just don't want it coming through the fabric. So for those of you who didn't see my update, I ended up in the hospital a few days ago. I don't even remember what day it was. I need to cut this a little bit straighter and a little bit smaller because I've got to have room to fold over that copper. I ended up in the hospital, and right now I couldn't even tell you what day it was when I went in. And I ended up having to spend the night. I had what they're calling a mini stroke. It was the strangest thing. And funny enough, it's related to my heart, to an issue that I had with my heart many, many years ago. Yeah, it was really, really scary. Can I just tell you? Okay, there we go. So I'm actually going to put that's why I sanded this, to give it some tooth so the glue would kind of stick to it. Come on. I was down here working and I was trying to get some stuff listed on my Etsy store. And all of a sudden, I couldn't type. Like I was trying to type the word vintage, and my brain couldn't figure out how to type the word vintage. I had a word that was about 10 characters long on the screen, and I'm like, I know that's not right. I mean, I had enough wherewithal to know that it wasn't right, but I couldn't make it. I just couldn't make my brain work. It was just a fog, and I couldn't remember how to spell the word and how to type it. And it was horrible. It was horrible. So I went upstairs and I was talking to my husband. I said, something's wrong. And I couldn't talk. Like gobbledygook was coming out. I was saying the most bizarre things. And he's like, get in the car, we're going to the hospital. I'm like, no, this like just came on. It just happened. I'll be fine. You know, I'm one of those people. I said, let me call my friend Cheryl. She's a nurse, and let me, talk to her about the symptoms and see if she thinks I need to go because she's a nurse. So I called Miss Crafty Shamrock, and I was not able to talk. She's like, take your blood pressure, take your blood sugar. It took me 3 times to be able to tell her what my blood sugar was because I couldn't get the number out. I was looking at it on the screen. It was just bizarre, and I couldn't get my words to come out. My blood pressure was sky high. My blood sugar was sky high. And she's like, well, if you were my patient, I would tell you to go to the hospital right now. And so hubby loaded me up. We went up to the hospital and they got me. I didn't want to go because I didn't want to sit in the waiting room forever, but they took me right in with the symptoms I was having and ran all these tests and everything was coming back okay. And Cheryl had been like, well, call me and let me know how you're doing. Yeah, what the deal is. And so I called her from the ER and I couldn't, it was getting worse. I couldn't talk and it got comical. I started laughing. I'd try to say something to her and just gibberish. And Cheryl, I can't even remember any of the stuff that I said. All I know is that it was nonsense that was coming out. And I started laughing because it was just my brain knew what it wanted to say. I just couldn't make it say it. So they said, well, even though all your blood work, everything looks good, we would like to keep you overnight for observation. I was like, okay. So they did. And I woke up in the morning and I was fine. And they did a brain MRI. And I don't know, everything was fine. All right, before I bend this over, I am going to miter these corners. I never can miter corners correctly. I either get too much left on there or not. I don't know. All right. So anyway, you try and tell me what they were doing and you were laughing so hard you couldn't. I was I couldn't talk. I couldn't talk. I couldn't make my words. I knew what I wanted to say, but I couldn't get it to come out right. Lou had to tell me. Yeah, hubby had to tell her what was going on because I couldn't do it. And I got up the next day, and everything has been fine since then. Tomorrow, I'm going in to be fitted for a heart monitor, and they think it's related to the AFib that I had like 15 years ago, and they want to watch my heart and see if I've got the AFib thing going again. Those. So that's what happened to me. And that's why I just felt compelled to do that PSA, because had I not gone and that thing had got progressively worse, who knows what, if it would have progressed. I don't know. But anyway, so that's what happened to me. All right, so I have this piece here, real thin copper. And what I'm going to do, these are called confirming pliers. And I'm just going to take them and bend this copper up. Right at the edge of that fabric. Now, it's not going to be exactly perfect. Because I didn't measure and I didn't make it exact, but I like my jewelry to be a little bit rustic. All right, I'm going to mute for a second. All right, so there's one side. Now, the other thing I could do is take a great big old button, if I have a great big old button, and put some holes in this bracelet, and I could put a button in the middle of it. So what do you guys think of these? Now, I did put Scotchgard on these, so, and I use all kinds of fabrics, and I'll do the lace one next, since some folks wanted the lace. So I'm just pulling these over. So this is combining my my fabric arts and my metals. I love to find ways to do that. Okay, I need to hammer this really hard, so let me mute again. There's that. Now this one is going to overlap some. And then I'll probably have to cut a little bit of the end off. It gets a little wonky. What do you mean I'll lose there is no ruffle in that lace. The lace ones sell very well, by the way. They really sell well. Yeah. Yep. I gotta put a border. There we go. And now this one. I have to have some way to keep that I have to have some way to keep the fabric in there. I mean, I know I put that Fabri-Tac in there. That is not going to hold long term. That was just to um, tack it in place while I while I confirmed it down with the. All right. And so there is that. Now I've got some little rough edges here. So I'm going to just. So I want to make sure everything is really smooth so that now this will have, like I said, another piece of copper underneath it, but I don't want any rough edges that might catch on somebody's clothes while they're wearing it. So I have to be real neat. Coffee. I've been drinking a lot of tea lately, a lot of green tea. I mean, I do still drink coffee, but a lot of water, a lot of green tea. Green tea is so good for you. So I was curious with the ER doctor. Well, not the ER doctor, the doctor who saw me in the hospital. I asked him, I said, so what do you think of the whole vegan diet thing? I said, what I do. And he's not a huge fan. He thinks we're meant to be meat eaters. He said, but, if that's what works for you, that's what works for you. I was wondering if he was going to say I might be missing out on nutrients or something, and that's what might have caused that, but that was not the case. So apparently atrial fibrillation is the number one cause of stroke. And he called mine a mini stroke. He said there was no damage done because oh my God, they gave me every test known to man. They did an ultrasound on my heart to make sure there was not a hole in the heart. They did the CT scans with and without contrast, and they did some other tests that first night too. I don't remember what it was. Probably an EKG. And they did a brain MRI just to make sure there was no, damage done and everything. He said there's no damage. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Now I need to hang on. I got to get a metal block. I got to be standing on a metal block. That's why the other lines didn't come out real well. All right. Oh, I got my metal block. Yeah, he just doesn't, he's a meat eater and that's his, belief. He thinks there's scientific proof for us being meat eaters. I'm not so convinced from what I read, but in any case, is that really loud, you guys? Tell me yes or no. There. See, the texture is much deeper there. So apparently, for those of you who are not in the medical field or have never had AFib, it's not too loud. Okay. So apparently, what happens in the heart is that it pumps, and when it squeezes, the blood pumps out of the heart and through the body, right? Well, he said with AFib, it doesn't pump hard enough. He said it's more like just massaging, it's just gently squeezing, and not all of the heart pumps, not all of the blood pumps out of the heart. And the blood that stays behind, he said, just like if you cut your finger and it starts bleeding, it eventually clots, right? It coagulates. And he said that blood that stays behind in the heart also. Yeah, I take D. I don't take B, and I probably need to start doing that. But I do take vitamin D because I've always been low on vitamin D. But anyway, so that blood that stays behind in the heart can clot, just like any blood that sits for a little bit, it's going to clot. And then that clot, the next time it massages, it can release that clot into the system. And that's what apparently causes the stroke. So AFib is the number one, and I do have to take blood thinners now. Not convinced that's what caused it, but I'm going with it because the doctor knows more than I do. But because I've never had any more problems with AFib since like 15 years ago. However, However, most people that have AFib are very asymptomatic. I've been told that back since I originally had it. My case was pretty severe when I had it before, and they don't know where it came from because I don't have any heart defects or anything. They don't know where it came from, and it went away as fast as it came on. So I don't. Almost done here, you guys. I don't know. The body's a mystery. The good news is I feel absolutely fine now. All right. Now that's a little wonky, so we'll hammer it flat. See, and one side's a little wider than the other. That's fine because when you get it, this is the same way. This side's a little less, but the piece underneath will be even. So you'll never notice it. Like you don't notice on this one that it's not perfectly round. Now, what I'm thinking might be kind of cool. Get my bucket of big buttons here. And I wouldn't use these, but I don't know, maybe. That one. This one's kind of cool though. So I could, hang on, let me find where I set my mandrel around. Form this into the form this into the bracelet. I don't see where I put my mandrel. Of course not. Of course not. But I've got all sorts of things. Like, look at this fun ribbon that I could use. I could use ribbon. I could use, lace, fabric. All right, you guys, where did I set my mandrel down after I formed that last bracelet? Because I don't see it. And I just had it. I mean, it's not like it could have gone anywhere. It's heavy. It's steel. All right. So this one I'm not going to form just yet. But hang on, let me find something just to. That's too. Let me find something just to. There we go. All right. So this is somewhat. Oh, this is better. This copper is really thin. So until I can actually form it into a true bracelet, we'll look at that. Now I think it needs something on it, like some metal across here. Or look at that. Look at that button right in the middle of that. Isn't that cool? I have some ceramic buttons as well. Oh, I do have this right here. Some metal stuff in here. Let's look and see. Ooh, ooh. Look at this fabric that I found in my little scrap bin. Wouldn't that be a pretty bracelet? Let's see. Ooh, that's pretty. I've got these little. Nope. Don't like that, but I do like this one. Um, I thought there's a button that we colored. That's kind of cool. So many things. So many things that one can do. Hang on, let me take one of these off because I really like this. Look at that. What do you guys think about that? Do you like it? It's a little bracelet piece. And I could put some holes in there, and I could, because it's got these little holes in the edge, and I could wire that down. And then when it goes over the other part of the bracelet, it would hide that. Isn't that pretty? I think I'm going to do that on that one. And then you've got the rest of this fabric over here. So the possibilities are endless, I guess is what I'm saying. There's that one. I did like this button though. I thought that was kind of cool too. You like this? Well, I could make two. I can make another one. Don't have to make just one. And have as many as I want. All right, let's do. Oh, I've got 30 minutes left. By the way, when I come back to going, back to like full days, I'm going back to an hour because what I'm finding is that people are really having to leave after an hour anyway or close to it. It's a long time to be online and give up in your day for you and for me. So yeah, I love playing with all this stuff. Now I need to have a day where I just go in and finish all these things. That's the problem is I get them to this point where the fun is done and then I got to go finish them and that's not fun. All right. So first of all, let me cut. Piece of this, and let's see, how do I need to cut it down? I'm just going to cut it on these lines. No, I don't think it's those lines. It's these. I'm talking to myself, you guys. Cut this, and then I'll have these little extra pieces of lace to do something else with. Now, I need to put a solid color behind this lace. I need a solid color. Is this fun for you guys watching, like the jewelry stuff? Or is it boring? I'm gonna cut. What color shall we put in the back of this? It's interesting. Oh, good. I'm glad you think so. I got a big show to get ready for. Just like hanging out. Well, that's good too. I'm glad you like hanging out. Okay, any ideas on a color? Kind of going to depend on what I have available, but I do have something that I think would be kind of cool. Okay, there we go. So I don't want it just on the copper. I think that's too blah. It's blah. So let's see. I have 2 bins of fabric right up here above me. Let's see if I have any that's. Now I have this one that's kind of a silky fabric. It's a curtain, apparently. I think it's not enough contrast. That lace doesn't show up real well. I've got that hot pink. What do you think of the hot pink? I've got a green polka dot. That's pretty. This might be too big a polka dot. Yeah, that's not good. Okay. Ah. Hey, Nydia. Oh, here's a pale green. Ooh, I really like that. Now, I know this has a pattern, but nope. Pattern's just not going to work with that. There's one other piece of fabric that I want to look at. Hang on, I'll be right back. Hi, Jan, dear. What are you doing? Hang on, you guys. I found a couple others, so I'm not seeing the one I wanted. Okay, you guys, I didn't find the one I'm looking for, but let's see. Ooh, look at this one I just saw. Goes that way. That would be pretty in the middle of a bracelet. Wouldn't that be pretty with the... Anyway, that's not what I'm working on. Okay, here's what I've got. You guys help me out here. I've got A. That would be pretty. I've got B, which is the lighter green. I'm not as fond of that. I don't think there's enough contrast with that one. I've got the dark green, which I think would be really pretty. I've got this kind of rusty hinge color. That would be really pretty for the fall. I've got this lighter pink. That might be okay. Not a lot of contrast, but it might be okay. Okay, Nydia. And then I've got this. Nope, too close in color. All right, so here's our choices. I have a favorite. Let's see what you guys think. All right, so vote A for the dark pink, B for dark green, C for rusty hinge, and D for the light pink. What do you guys think? A, B, C, or D? Ooh, look at it. I've got this too. This would be pretty as a bracelet. I keep finding all this stuff. Okay, I got an A, a B. Ooh, that would be pretty. An A and a B. Another A. Okay, I got two A's and a B. So far, the A's winning. I like that green too. All right, I'm going to tear off a strip of this and let's see. Whoops. I knocked you guys silly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and glue this down here. The pink would sell, you think? Now, remember, it's going to have copper with it too. So let's see if copper's a good. I can make a copper and a green because I like the green too. So it's just what I'm going to make here because I've got plenty of materials to make. I can't tell. This is the back. So I'm going to Taking a Fabri-Tac, and I'm just going to put it in some pink girlies. Yep. So I'll show you. I don't know. We'll get this one all the way done. But I just wanted to show you guys how I make these bracelets. You have any tiger stripe? No, I don't. I don't have really any animal prints that I know of. Now I gotta go back and look. I shouldn't say that till I go back and look. Because you know I'm always finding different. But I'm pretty sure I don't have tiger stripe. Oh, come on. There we go. All right. So this is another project. Well, the riveting, I guess you guys wouldn't be able to do. I was gonna say this is kind of another project that you could do, you guys could do at home, but I don't think so. Because I don't know that you'd be able to do the riveting. All right. I'm gonna go with a skinnier one, and we'll just have to fold it real tight. All right. Look at my desk, you guys. This is how I work. I get it all clustered up together. All right. So again, I don't need to be precise with this glue. I just need to get it on here enough to hold the piece down. I definitely don't want it seeping through, so I'm going to spread it out. So what's everybody doing today? Anything exciting? I got to go fight with Social Security. They didn't activate my Medicare to pay for my hospital visits, so I got to go deal with that today. That's going to be no fun. This one's going to have a much smaller border around it. All right. I didn't used to do the mitering on the edges. I would just fold it over. But Fabri-Tac on everything. That's the one thing I don't like about it. All right, so I'm just trying to make sure this line is kind of somewhat in the middle. And so again, the glue is all just about tacking things down until I can get the copper folded over. All right. There we go. These are called confirming pliers because it confirms. Oops, I'm way off camera. Hang on a second. Good morning, Caroline. No, Wendy is Papered Rooster. No worries. So I am, Caroline, working on some. Now this one is small enough I can push these down with this plier, and I am like way out of camera since I knocked it off. So I'm gonna finish confirming this and then review what we made and we'll call it a day. There we go. So that one's got a much thinner border around it. And again, I will, have fun, KK. I will antique the copper so it won't be so bright. So Caroline, I'm making oh my gosh. Mimi, I'll tell you, when you lose your faculties, it's like, people who, like for me, it was speaking the other day. I couldn't communicate. My brain just would not make the words that I wanted it to. And it was the scariest daggum thing. And I am just so grateful that it was not a serious stroke because it could have been. It was just kind of that he called it a mini stroke. I guess it's also called a TIA. I don't know about such things. I've never dealt with that before. I mean, by and large, I know I'm diabetic and, I do have some health issues I have to deal with, but by and large, I'm pretty darn healthy. I don't go to the doctor a lot. I don't have a lot of issues. And I'd like to keep it that. And I'm telling you what, for you young girls out here, I will tell you that growing old is not for the faint of heart. It's just not. Yeah, it will. Everything sells eventually. You know, the funny thing is, I could go to this show and not sell a single one of these bracelets. You just don't know. And then I had someone in the Durham store the other day bought several. You just don't know. Customers are fickle. And you just don't know what people are going to want. That's why I try to make a lot of different things because I don't know. And if I could predict it, I'd be a millionaire. And that's something us vendors is how you just never know what people are going to want. So there it is. There's the pink one. And I'm going to have to go around and do the texturing and all of that. But we're out of time. I will do my own. So let's see what we made today. Uh, I got this one started before we came on. Oops. So I got this one started and then finished that up. And so for those who just came in, growing old really does stink. Look at that. Isn't that pretty with the gray? And so I just need to put it on at the backing. And then we did this one that has the postage stamp material in it. And I'm going to put this on the top of it. And then this isn't formed all the way. Oh, my man. Remember I said, what did I do with my mandrel? Where did I put my mandrel? Look at you guys. It's sitting right here, right next to me. Oh my gosh. I am such a goof. I am such a goof. I don't think it was only my speaking that was affected. Yes, Mimi, we definitely are praying for you. I know you struggle with eye issues and have for a long time, and I hate that for you because, man, you lose your faculties. You don't realize it until you can't do it. Like for me, it was talking. For Mimi, it's seeing clearly. And it's so frustrating because you just want that stuff back. This one I can form a lot with my fingers because it's so loose. There we go. All right, so I got those two done. This one's going to have this on it. This one's just going to be plain. And that's what we got done today. And then we've got this one that I need to form. That's it. That is it, ladies. Let's go down just a hair so you can see these really well. And there they are. Trying to help mom who had knee. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you just gotta ask for the help. You just gotta do it, Mimi. You just gotta do it. All right, you guys, thanks for coming along with me. Mimi, I know you love these fabric bracelets. And I've just about got 3 of them done, and I'll probably make up about 10 of them total to take with me and then have some to go to Durham. I really like this. So anyway, I love you too, Mimi. All right, folks, I'm going to go. Thumbs up if you haven't, please. Have a wonderful day and week, and I will see you next Wednesday. And I'll show you all these because I will have them all done by then. All right. Thank you all. I will see you next time. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye.